hockey friends and families around the world, and welcome to another episode of Our Girls Play Hockey. I'm Lee Elias, joined by Sherry Hudspeth and Mike Benelli. Our guest today has had an incredible year, really an incredible few months. She's not only a recent NCAA champion with the Wisconsin Badgers, but also a world champion with Team USA. Caroline Harvey has been a standout defenseman, playing a pivotal role in both Wisconsin's national championship victory and Team USA's gold medal run at the Women's World Championships in Czechia. Her performances on the ice have earned her numerous accolades in both collegiate and international hockey, including being named the best defenseman at the 2025 IIHF Women's World Championship. I don't know why I said that wrong. She's a national champion, multi-time gold medalist. Our guest today is truly exceptional. Please join us in welcoming Caroline to the show. Caroline, welcome to Our Girls Play Hockey.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you.
Thanks for being here, Caroline. We're so excited that you're on the show. Congratulations. Firstly, we're going to take it back a little bit with the first congratulations is on your NCAA championship. So can you talk a little bit about winning a national championship and what that means to you and what it means to the Wisconsin program?
Yeah, I mean, cliche. It means everything because we've been on both sides of it. We were fortunate, like our freshman year, to be winning that, and then last year we had lost, and it's always been us in Ohio State. So it's always dueling with them till the end, and it's such a surreal thing. It's only one team that stands at the end, and it's a hard thing to do. So for our team to win in the dramatic fashion we did this year too, it was really just the cherry on top.
No, it's awesome. I mean, I think anybody in the college hockey world obviously knows, Wisconsin and knows, really the history of, all these top tier programs. I guess what I'd like to know is, and you could pump the tires of Wisconsin right now. That's your chance to help that recruiting staff. But what helped make your decision to go to Wisconsin? And I think from the time you've been there now, how has your time there shaped your own personal development as a player?
Yeah, I mean, just since the first day, like I stepped on campus and just in general when I went to visit during my recruitment process, they've always just been so welcoming. The coaching staff, the people of Madison, the city is amazing. It's a city vibe, but also it's very small. The academics are unbelievable. The facilities are second to none. It's just top to bottom. They have everything covered in all facets. For myself, though, I feel like I went in there, I was not knowing what to expect. I definitely was still not an adult. I had a lot to learn, so I was just a sponge, especially my first year. I still am always learning, but I've really I feel like I've matured and taken it further in that way as a person and player. They challenge you, they force you to, get out of your comfort zone, and that has been part of my process, and I really am grateful for the coaches and how they helped in that way.
I want to pull a thread on that before we dive into the World Championships. Very, very kind of cool. We have a guest with two championship stories on separate teams in the same time period. But in your journey to college hockey, I know we have a lot of young ladies and parents that listen to this show that aspire to play at that level. So I'm wondering if you could take us even further back to, when did you realize that collegiate hockey was a possibility? And then, I remember playing in college, just the excitement leading up to college hockey, and especially those last few years of high school, or today it's beyond high school for some kids also. But tell us about that time where you kind of harnessed yourself into, okay, I'm going to become a college player, and then again, we will morph that into Team USA in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had the goal. I think as far as I can remember, maybe like around 6th or 7th grade. My dad started bringing it to my attention. He was talking about college athletics, and he'd be like, "Oh, like, is that what you want to do?" And I was like, "Yes." Like, I would watch like the hockey teams, especially being in the area, and I was like, "That's something I want to do. I want to pursue that. That's my goal. I want to play, especially like Division I. I was like, I want to be there." And at the time, I didn't know. I was still playing boys, and I didn't really know how I stacked up or like what it looked like, the recruitment process. And I just remember when I made the jump to girls hockey, went to prep school my first year, it was really helpful. I went to Selects Academy, and they helped educate us on the recruitment process. And there's like obviously coaches that would come to a lot of our tournaments, which was awesome. And they would talk directly through our coaches who would talk to us, which was great because they could like mentor us and, walk us through all that process. So it was great that I was glad I made the switch and was able to understand it more and be able to do what I did like with the coaches I had there in place. And it yeah, as far as I can remember, I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade when my dad started bringing it to my attention. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to go to these schools. And I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity that I did.
So follow up to that is, and I love that, right? Today, as we're recording this, you're a hockey player. I mean, you're much more than a hockey player, but we know you as a hockey player, international gold medalist, best defenseman, so on and so on. Like that's how, when we say your name, we look you up on the internet, that's what's going to pop up. We had a great conversation on a previous episode about the not sacrifices you have to make as a teenager, but the choice that you make to pursue this, right? I think a lot of times we talk about, oh, we have to sacrifice so much. No, it's a choice, right? Because you want to do this, especially for the young kids listening. Can you talk about some of those choices that you made to kind of prioritize hockey over other things, with the understanding that if listeners don't want to do that, that's also okay, right? There's no right or wrong here. This is a choice that you made.
Yeah, I mean, there just has to be a drive to want to do it. Like you said, there's no right or wrong path. Either is great. It's just got to come from within yourself what your goals are. I mean, I feel like from a young age, like personally, I knew I was like I was very driven. I've been driven, and I'm like I want to do this. So it's got to come from within yourself, and then I mean, your parents can do so much saying, oh, there's this opportunity, which is great, like present you with opportunities, but it just has to be something that you're like, I want that to be my end goal. I want to be there. So yeah, it's a commitment, I would say, to like every day, whether that's shooting extra pucks, an extra workout, speed work, like whatever it may look like, or be staying on the ice extra 5-10 minutes. It's just doing those little things every day that add up over time that make you a better player.
I love it. And now I am going to transition into Team USA. Hey, gold medalist. First off, again, right? Congratulations. We're recording this. It's only been a few weeks, right? So one of the cool things about our Girls Play Hockey is we've been very privileged to have Olympians on, world champions on, but they're speaking from a perspective of the past, right? You're in it now. You just played at a world championship. There were 51 ambassadors, female ambassadors from other countries at the game. There's obviously a huge crowd. It was broadcasted everywhere. Everyone I know was watching that gold medal game and several of the other games. Sherry was actually there, right? Like the nature of this is becoming as massive as it probably should have been. Have you had time to reflect on that championship? Can you even begin to tell us what that experience felt like, what it meant to both represent your country, to be with your teammates, to understand that so many other emerging countries for women's hockey were there? Can you even sum that up for us right now?
Well, and beating Canada. Let's get that in.
And we beat Canada. I was trying to be nice, Mike, to someone on the phone here, but yes, and we beat Canada.
I mean, just hearing all that, I get chills. It's just how far the game has come and continues to grow, especially just women's athletics in general, but women's hockey especially. Hearing that, it's just like, wow, like everyone, like the people who are tuned in and really committed to watching, and you know what I mean? It's like all eyes are on US-Canada game in the final. Like that's just awesome. And I hope to be a part of this for a long time, just growing the game and giving back, because I want these little girls to have opportunities that, I mean, I feel fortunate for the ones I have already, but like that could be even more so down the road. You know what I mean? So that's amazing just to hear that and you say that. It gives me instant chills to be a part of that.
Well, and Sherry, I'm going to add one more thing on, then I will shut up. I want you to know, Caroline, like just to give you, because this is something you can't see on the ice, is my 11-year-old son and my 8-year-old daughter watching this and cheering. Obviously, when we won, you won. I wasn't playing. But, I remember hearing my daughter really going nuts. And my son, too, don't get me wrong. But this is now her reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is now her reality forever, right? You didn't have that. Sherry didn't have that. It's always an evolving process, right? You had mentors of your time. But it's cool to see both my kids celebrating a Team USA rivalry. And let's be honest, the USA-Canada women's hockey rivalry, in my opinion, probably is the biggest rivalry in sports historically now for the longest time, right? I don't think there's any two teams that have gone head-to-head like this in any other sport. So there's that aspect of it too. But I want to tell you, there are kids, I would physically watch them watching your team win and cheering. It's an amazing thing to see.
That's so cool, especially you saying like your son too is into it. I just remember going to like a PWHL game for the first time ever and seeing little boys like supporting him, be like, oh my God, like going crazy for the girls. I just feel like growing up, that was never really a thing. Like little boys looking up to pro women's sports,
Right.
which is like the coolest thing now.
It's becoming the norm, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot more PWHL games soon. Just saying.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of questions about, kind of, your as you evolve into other roles, in the game. And I just from the Olympic point of view, I mean, watching the last series of events, it seems to me, in a good way, that the gap between the competing countries is getting smaller and smaller, where those scores used to be 18-1, 15-0. I mean, can you just talk a little bit about like your, what it's like in the USA hockey sphere of, listen, these are like, you can't just wait for Canada anymore. Like, these are very competitive games against every single nation that we're playing at these high level tournaments now, where, I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing for women's hockey that these scores are not complete blowouts and that they are competitive. But can you talk a little bit about, what that is from the USA hockey perspective, and, how that messaging is brought to you guys as players?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it shows kind of in our semifinal against Czech. It was 1 goal apart. Like, it's becoming very, like you said, the gap's closing. It's becoming very much so more competitive. And from our perspective, it's love to see the game growing and just becoming more competitive from all countries, and the development process that's going on. It's awesome. I mean, that's how it should be, and it'll continue to look in the future, and there'll be more parity as we move forward. And I mean, I'm so excited to see that, and so much recognition and appreciation for like the hard work that these countries are putting in and the development that's going on. It's coming a long way, and the Finlands, the Czechs, the Switzerlands, like all the teams in general, the Germanys too. Like, I don't know, it was only 3-0 against Germany, and it's just like it's come such a long way compared to, like you said, years ago, like what it would be.
Well, I'm going to say before Sherry, throw it to you here. I was getting texts from Sherry in the semifinal saying, "This is close. This is pretty close."
It's scary.
It was rocking though. Like when Czech
awesome.
was playing, like the vibe in the arena, the Euro hockey is incredible. Like they clap and dance and have flags, and it was men, it was women, it was boys and girls. Like when Czechia lost, I was coming into the US game, and there was like men literally crying in the street. Like they are so passionate about their hockey, and like kids, we had boys and girls, wearing their country jersey, and it was so loud. Like, I don't know how you guys heard each other. I don't know how the refs and coaches heard each other. It was rocking in there, and I love to see that. That was, I was there with IHF, and that was my first international tournament. I didn't get to play internationally, but just to see the experience that you guys get to have off the ice and seeing these cities and like the history of some of these cities that you get to go to. It's not just about hockey. It's like you get to go experience the world. So just kind of wondering, outside of the hockey, was there anywhere cool that you went that you like anything you saw there that you liked in Czechia? And just talk about the travel that you get to do and some of the sites that you get to see outside of hockey.
Yeah, it really is an unbelievable experience. It's more than hockey. There is a lot of time we do have actually downtime to go into different cities and explore. Like we had our pre-camp in Prague, which was a couple hours. Pretty sure it was like north of where we were for the tournament. And we were able to see Prague for a couple days. And when we had pre-camp, just explore with each other different like little cute places. And the streets were so historic and the buildings were beautiful. So having that experience outside of hockey and getting to travel the world is something I'm so grateful for. And having experiences that I wouldn't have otherwise, like I wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Just going, like, let's go to Prague, it was cool to have that with my teammates and close friends. So.
You know what I don't think people realize, and I certainly didn't realize with the Canada-US rivalry, with it being, it's so heated already, but everyone flew out of Prague that morning. So US was there with the trophy in the airport, and Canada's there checking in, and they're both in the airport at the same gates and everything. And that has to fuel you as just sitting there like watching them celebrate or sit at the bar, and it's the other team's just sitting there, right? And it goes back and forth where you guys both have had to do it. But I didn't realize that, obviously they don't fly charters, they fly normal like Delta Airlines. So it's like that has to fuel you if you're sitting there looking at that, and it's like, we're going to get you next championship, we're going to get you in the Olympics. Like you're not going to forget sitting there and what that feels like.
Exactly. I remember last year when we lost in Utica, we were like, our hotel was kind of stationed in a little like casino, like the area we're in, and I mean, we're all just like hanging out after the game, and I remember they were just sitting there, and it was like with the trophy, like you said, and it's just so motivating because you're like, oh, that game ended a couple hours ago. I wish it ended differently, but next year or next time we're gonna get you.
Yeah, they had the trophy. They're like, it's going right to Denver. It's going right to the USA Hockey office, and they're parading it through. And it's like, this is crazy.
That's a 30-year-old rivalry. I mean, like this is something we don't. That's why I said what I said before. This is a 30-year battle, with a rare exception. Right? It's gone on 30 years. I mean, again, I started with Wickenheiser versus Granado. I mean, who are in the Hockey Hall of Fame now, right? Like this is how long this rivalry has been going. So, Caroline, I love that you get to be a part of it. And I'm just going to say, because Sherry keeps going back between we and us and me and in different countries. Thank you for winning this for the USA. I'll say it on here. We can have a healthy rivalry on the show too, Sherry. I mean, you'll
I'm American now. As of
I know you.
I'm American.
I didn't want to say without your permission. We need to give a little round of applause to Sherry Husband, who got her citizenship this week. Another big championship. I won't ask you to say go Team USA just yet, Sherry.
USA Hockey's do or die.
There we go. Isn't that from the Mighty Ducks? Come on.
No, it's from the chant. The world.
I'm teasing. Go ahead, Sherry.
Any you guys, Mike? Any questions about Worlds Team USA?
No, I mean, just you could tell that your experience. Obviously, you win, right? So your experience is a lot better. But I think just you could tell by just the way you're speaking about it. If you're watching this on any of our various channels, I mean, if you could see Carolyn's face, you could tell just the pride and the just knowing that was a huge accomplishment. And I think the more you guys are in these international competitions and have an opportunity to be in airports and gloat, I would definitely do as much as you can there.
Okay, we'll move on. So I'm really excited you're coming here May 17th with Layla Edwards. We're in year 3 of the Bauer Empowered program. For those that don't know, it's an exclusive program the Vegas Golden Knights run with Bauer. And thank you to Mary Kay Messier and Bauer. And ambassadors come from Bauer. So we have yourself and Layla Edwards coming out on May 17th. And what they're doing is an equipment fitting. So we have girls ages 5 to 12. We have 30 girls, and their very first touch point in hockey is all brand new Bauer equipment, and they meet an Olympian on their very, very first day of hockey. So can you talk about, the impact that's going to have on these young girls that are 5 and 6 years old that get to meet you guys on that day? And also what it means to you to help smaller markets like Nevada and grow hockey here through Bauer?
Yeah, I'm super excited, and thanks for having me back this year. Me and Layla are fired up, and last year was just an incredible experience. We were able to, fit the girls, there's some little munchkins, and then there's also some older girls and little boys too, and or just little girls, right?
Just girls, yeah.
But they had their brothers along with them. Mm-hmm. That was cool to meet them. But yeah, it was such a touching thing to do, and it warmed our hearts. I mean, seeing their faces light up and getting their new equipment, it was just like, it was the sweetest thing to do. And you know what I mean? We hope to make such an impact, and like you said, going to a smaller market, and doing so, we hope to grow the game and, inspire these young girls to want to, keep playing hockey, and, maybe one day they want to play college, or they want to play in the Olympics or for a national team. So we hope to be the start of that with fitting them for the right equipment and getting their journey started.
Hoping it catches on too, because we have NHL Learn to Play across the board, and they have, I think, First Shift in Canada, right? So that program is with NHL alumni. So you have male alumni on the ice. This is with female ambassadors all the time. So hopefully that catches on, and we get more girls learn to play with only female ambassadors, just, girls only ecosystem. So it's contributing to that, and I'm hoping it catches on.
Yeah, I think you're doing a great job with that.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And I think, Sherry, to your point too, just having the ability to have women working with girls, it's just really important. It's the same thing at any sport and any level or any profession, right? It's just having people that can, the old saying that if you could see it, you could be it. It's just really so impactful in sport, because we've had so many people on this show in particular that, they're like, well, my parents didn't even know girls could play sports. Like, and that was not that long ago. I mean, you're not talking about, a century ago. You're talking about 10 years ago or 12 years ago. So I think, I know you're from New Hampshire, right, Carolyn? It's not, I wouldn't say, no disparaging New Hampshire. I coached up at Plymouth State for a long time. I know the area. It's not a hockey hotbed for, when you look at the overall scheme of hockey, but it is growing. And I think, knowing what you did as a player, and you talked a little bit about, for a long time you played with boys, right? So it wasn't just an all girls team when you were 6 or 7 years old. Can you just talk about, with the players that today, the landscape today, you're young enough to just be out of it just a little bit. What advice would you give to those, 12, 13, 16-year-old girls that you would have loved to have when you were, in that before you went off to prep school and college?
Yeah, like, are you talking about just their journey or?
Yeah, just your your overall reflection on like things that maybe you thought were important or weren't important, that that people worried about that maybe they shouldn't worry about, and how did those steps impact you so that you could get where you are now?
I think it was just a learning process. I mean, now what's amazing to see is the girls teams the youth teams that are being implemented, where the girls have a chance to play. They don't have to just play boys, and they have a great opportunity to play on girls and develop the same and have those same opportunities playing with their, like, you know what I mean, not having to play on a boys squad. I think that's changed a lot in my perspective, and I think what's important is just the mindset that I touched on earlier. It has to be a commitment every day. If you have long-term goals of wanting to be on a national team or play collegiate or whatever it may be, I think it's just day in and day out being committed, and because you have that drive. It's not something that you're forcing yourself to do. It has to come from within and something that you desire. I would say that's the biggest thing that stuck with me after reflecting back into this day, like what I've realized is important. And I I am fortunate though. I played boys hockey. I mean, I think it's amazing that there are girls opportunities now where the teams are competitive and they're very skilled and you can play with them. But I think if you can play boys too, it's not bad if you want to play for a year or two to learn, especially with the PWHL, like checking too. I mean, it's changing. The game's becoming more like the men's side too nowadays.
Do you think like what would you say to a girl right now, 12, 13 years old, is playing with boys? And maybe what would you say to their coaches? I mean, did you feel like those coaches treated you differently because you were a girl, or they just said, listen, this is a hockey player and I'm gonna drive her to be the best hockey player she could be?
For me, I had a great experience. They treated me just like the boys. They wanted the best for me. They pushed me just as hard. They talked to me the same, which was awesome. I wanted that. I wanted to be held to the same standard. I think some of my teammates I've talked to, it's been a different experience for them. So it just depends. But I think if a girl's playing boys and she's 12 or 13 and she wants to continue to do it, maybe if they want only like another year of checking or whatever it is, that would be great. I mean, if they want to stay with them for a little bit longer. But I think also like the prep school route of switching over at some point is an awesome opportunity. I feel like it was very beneficial. And Layla was part of that journey too with me. She went to selects, and I'm pretty sure she played boys too and then switched over. So it's a good transition point. I feel like maybe if it's at like 14, maybe 15 years old, if a girl's looking to switch over, or maybe she is playing girls hockey and she wants to just go to prep school, and that's any avenue is great. And prep school, I feel like I'm an advocate for it. I feel like it teaches you a lot and helps you grow up a lot as a player in person. But there's no wrong route. You can play AAA, you could play AA, you could play whatever level it is, and you can still make it. It's all in your own habits and your own drive to want to be the best.
Right.
What was that transition like for you when you went from boys to girls? Can you just explain some of the differences that you noticed? Maybe it was socially, maybe it was locker room experience. Just pull a thread on that.
Yeah, I feel like it was everything. It was like you said, socially and on the ice as well. For on the ice focus first, it was the timing of stuff. I feel like I was used to, because I did a year of checking, getting blown up and not having any time with the puck. Then I realized when I made the switch to girls, like I had a second more and I wouldn't get blown up. So that was nice where I could be a little bit safer, like, and not have to just throw the puck away. So I had to get used to not just throwing the puck away as much. I could hold on to it, which was nice. But of course, it was still physical. I'd still get rubbed out, and I had to protect the puck and whatnot. And I feel like just socially, it was amazing. It was like with the boys, it was great. They're like my brothers, and they were tough and rough with me, and I loved it. They pushed me to be better. But with the girls, it was I made some great friendships, and to this day, Layla's been my best friend since her first year of prep school. So I think she was like 13 or 14. So maybe about 8 years now we've been best friends. Or something like that. So it's it's amazing in the social aspect of things. You meet some of your best friends along the way.
I want to stay on this route for a little bit longer too. Our show reaches a lot of parents too and coaches, and I'm wondering, on reflecting back on your journey, different guests have talked about different experiences with parents and coaches. You alluded that you had a great coaching experience. Is there advice to parents that you might have that have, young ladies going through the development process, or young boys, right? Like, we try and merge them together a bit, but what is some of the things you've experienced from parents, and then what can parents do maybe better to fortify that journey?
Yeah, I think fostering an environment of being supportive, and you do want to push your child to, be their best selves and strive for their goals, but there's a point where you have to take your foot off the gas as well. You have to have your hands off, kind of thing. So I think it's a balance between the two. It's not, you want to hold them to a certain standard, but you don't need to be behind the board screaming at them and pointing at them and making signals. Like, you should let them play their game, and honestly, like, if they want feedback, give it to them. If they don't, if it's one of those days where it wasn't their best game, like, just let it be, let it soak in. A player knows when they're not playing their best, or if, it's been a rough patch. So you don't need to harp on your kid. I would say that's the biggest thing, is you don't need to always harp on them. Yourself, just like yourself, like as a parent, when you mess up. So you don't need someone in your ear telling you that. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is fostering an environment for them to grow as a player and person, being supportive, but at times getting on them if they're falling out of sorts. So it's a balance. You don't want to be too much on them.
I was going to say, from your mouth to the hockey god's ears, right? I mean, because this is true in all youth sports. There seems to be, Caroline, a growing fear of letting kids fail, right? And as coaches, I know the three of us, you have to let your kids fail. I mean, you just alluded to that. Can you tell us, and this is kind of an either or question, there's no way anyone gets to the level you're at without failing at some point. It's a known. Can you tell us about, how you deal with failure, how you compartmentalize failure to your advantage? And if you want to share any of those failures, you don't have to. As an example, I think that's always a good story to tell, because parents often protect their kids because they're also protecting themselves. If your kid hurts, you hurt. It's just the way it is. But you have to let them skate the line, walk the line in this sense. So,
yeah. I mean, failure, like I remember when I was younger, it was like this car ride is very distinct in my mind right now. I was having a lot of fun, but my dad was real with me, and I appreciate him now looking back. At the time it sucked, but he was like, yeah, you're having fun. But he's like, I think I was just playing every position, and I was still like getting older. I think I might have been, it was just like a fun girls tournament. I was playing boys at the time, but that tournament I just want to have fun. And I remember I was playing forward, and I didn't have a great tournament, but I had fun in the locker room, and the girls were just being like goofy. But he was just like, yeah, it's awesome, you had fun, but if you want to make the next level, you have to take it serious at one point too. If you don't want it, that, like, he was kind of hard on me. Like, looking back now, I was like, at the time I didn't have the perspective to understand what he was trying to do, but that really was a time where I kind of failed in a way. Whereas, like, yeah, I want to have fun doing the sport I love, but I need to take it serious, and I need to be good with my habits too. I can't, like, let off at points. So he kind of put me in check in that way, which was a good reminder. At the time I didn't like it, but it made me kind of realize and lock in a bit more and turn things around.
Yeah, I think too that one of the, I don't know if it's a misunderstanding, it's something, as you get more competitive, you realize the competition is the fun, and that the work is the fun, right? The grind is the fun. And it sounds like that was kind of the conversation that helped you arrive at that point.
Exactly.
Can you talk about the grind? Because, we didn't really tap on that. Like, look, we're totally celebrating the national championship and the gold medal, and we have every right to do that as hockey fans and as a hockey podcast. But you didn't just arrive on Team USA and win a gold medal, right? Tell us about the work. Tell us about the time you put in, and also why that's fun now.
Yeah, it is a grind, like you said, and I've said it a couple times now on the podcast. It's every day. I mean, you have an off day like maybe once a week, but you need to be in the gym. You need to be on the ice doing extra skills. You have to work on your footwork, everything. If you want to win a championship, if you want to come to the top at the end of a tournament, you need to put in that work all throughout a season, all summer to do so. It's not something that just comes in the moment. It takes time. It's a process. So it's a continuous grind. And if you want to be at the top, if you want to wear that gold medal around your neck, it's something you have to commit to every day.
Yeah, I love it. And again, I just think it's weird that feels like that's the hidden side, because, we talk on this show all the time, Mike, especially on our kids play hockey, about how everyone's looking for that secret advantage, that secret thing that no one knows about that's going to put you over the top. And the truth is that I don't think that's something you can find. That's something that's in your hockey player, or it's not. And both directions of that are okay, right? If your kid does not or is not exhibiting the drive to put in the work, again, you can cultivate it, but you can't create it, right? And like Caroline said, as a parent, that message your father gave you is such a wonderful example of him recognizing a situation and explaining it to you a way that you did understand and put into effect. But he didn't force you and say, you must be this, right? Because that's not, it's your life. So I would say that. And I think also, and Mike and Sherry, please comment on this, that drive could show up when they're 6, 16, 25. I mean, you just don't know when it's going to show up. And again, you can cultivate it, but that's something that's going to be in your kid, right? And I think it's important to understand that not every kid experiences that at the same age.
Oh, I think it's something that's not teachable. Like, that's something
Right.
you either have or you don't. Like when I was growing up, I didn't want to do anything else but hockey. My school reports were on hockey. Like, I'd come home and watch hockey. I'd play in my driveway, play street hockey. It's something
Yeah.
the love is in you, right? And I don't think it's something you can teach. Like, you see a lot of parents putting kids in hockey, and they almost want it more than the kid. And it's like, to really get to those high performance levels of D1 and NCAA, like, you have to have that drive somewhere inside of you, and you can't teach it and you can't force it. It's just there. And like Olympics, those athletes, that's a whole different level. Like, that's the 1% of the 1% that are on these national teams.
Yeah, I think that's why Caroline's story is so impactful, I think, for that age group or any age group, right? Is because it isn't a secret. Like, the secret, like if you're in development and you watch how players compete, and you watch the players that end up getting through the gauntlet of all the tournaments and the skills sessions and the morning skates and the all the spring and summer stuff, it is not a secret. It's right there in your face. You see it every day. But I think, Caroline, you made a great point with your dad, is that sometimes, kids need to just be reminded a little bit of staying on focus. Because I'm a believer that, you train to the level that you train with. And I think sometimes when players get into a place where it is just fun and like, there's no goal, like, there's just, hey, let's just go out there and fool around, which is fine. That's so healthy and it's so great to have. But if you continue down that path all the time, every weekend, it goes that way too. So one way or another, you're going to follow the path of the people you surround yourself with. And having fun is a lot different. And Lee brought it up, and we bring it all the time. Like, having fun and competing don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, it should be the same thing. And joking around. And I think as coaches, you love hearing locker rooms that are laughing and having fun and are light. I mean, we just experienced it, just recently, right? With Marc-Andre Fleury, leaving the game. Like, you talk to every single person, they don't even mention his hockey skill until after they mention how much fun the guy is. Like, and how much, and you think anybody said, oh, you got to be more serious. If you're not more serious, you're never going to make it. So I think it's just a matter of, there's a time and a place to have, to joke around and have fun, put the work in, have fun, drive, get there, do what you have to do, have fun. And I think then all of a sudden you are having fun because you are getting better and you are competing. And I don't know. I think fun is hoisting a gold medal.
Winning can be fun too.
National championship. Those kind of things are fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, very rewarding and fun. I would agree.
So just a question here for these young girls that are aspiring to be like you, to be a world champion, to play NCAA. What guidance would you give them, helping them pursue their dreams and get on that path?
Yeah, I think the first step is setting out your goals. Like, I mean, if you're a person that writes it down, jots in their phone notes, whatever it may be, just knowing what you want in how many years, if that's, in the next couple of years, into the next 10 years, depends what age you are, where you want to be at, if it's 18, 20, 22. So kind of having a timeline for yourself. You can do it on your own. You can sit down with your parents, or it could just be a mental thing you have, and no one else knows about. So once you know your goals and you know what you have in mind, what are the steps you're going to do to achieve that? What are you going to do every day? Like, are you going to do an extra workout? Are you going to shoot some more pucks? Like, do you need to work on your hands? Like, what part of your game needs to evolve more for you to achieve those goals that you have in mind? It's just I think I don't know. I'm a person of writing stuff down and like kind of having a set in stone. I want to do this and I want to be this at this age. I mean, really, if you have goals in mind and you set your mind to it, you can. I'm a firm believer that you can achieve it if you put in the work consistently every day, every year, like whatever it is, you can do it.
So Megan Bozak's mentioned a lot about journaling, and she did that when she was like on the national team. Is there something specific that you can say that you do that's really helped you? Is it journaling? Is it, can you talk about like what helps you the most?
Yeah, I go through phases. I think journaling is a great way of doing that, and it can bring a lot of success and clear your mind. I feel like I fall in and out of that. For me personally, I'm more of a person of like, I like do relaxing things every day, like like stretching, for instance. Like it's more of like a physical thing for me, but that helps me relax my mind too, because I'm like relaxing my body and I'm clearing my mind. I'm not thinking about, oh, I need to do my homework, I need to do my laundry, I need to do this, that, cook, clean. I'm just like relaxing and really taking that time to myself. So for me, I think it's like a stretching sequence every day, making my body feel good and prep for the next day. I do journal though here and there. I feel like that's a great outlet as well. If you need to just get your thoughts out of your mind, if you're stressed about something or something's up and coming, writing your feelings down, or if you had a great game, or if you feel like you didn't do well and you want to get that off your plate too, it's just kind of reflecting. It could be a weekly thing, it could be a daily thing. It just depends what you need for yourself.
Is there something too that you do to calm those nerves before the big game, before the Canada-US game? Is there something that helps you deal with that, the nerves, the anxiety, the pressure? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I feel like regardless of what age you are, I feel like any of the girls could attest to this. What age you are, how many years you've had, how much experience you have. I feel like regardless, you are always going to be nervous for a gold medal game, and it's just this like feeling like that kind of, it's just setting. You need to set into the game, settle a bit. It's just regardless of how many world championships you've been there for, it's always gonna come on. But for me personally, I just keep trying to do the consistent same routine before the game, on ice stuff, so it feels as similar and as the same prep as I always do. So I relax, and regardless, I just in my head I'm like, okay, I need to get the first couple shifts under my belt, get used to the pace again, and then once I feel like I do and I'm playing my game, I'm like, okay. I mean, at moments it might hit me like, oh, this is a gold medal game, there's a lot on the line, and I might get nervous again, but it's just bringing it back to the basics. Like, okay, you've played a game all your life, the same game, you know what to do, so just relax and go out there and do what you do best.
Yeah, I've become very fond and been very blessed to been in a lot of championship environments. Caroline, I'm not saying USA gold medal, but I tell my athletes that if you're feeling that feeling, that's a good thing, right? And that after a while, I tell them the feeling never really goes away. It just becomes kind of an old friend. Like you expect it, it's going to be there. And I always say that if you're feeling that, whatever word you want to tie to it, I don't like to use the word anxiety with that one, but if you're feeling that pregame, this is a big one, that's a good thing, right? That's exactly the position you want to be in. And we always say this too, that we talk about courage, right? And the courage to make the big play. Well, in the moment, when you're being courageous, you don't feel like you're being courageous. It doesn't feel like that, right? That's the after effect when you get the highlight on the TV or something happening, right? But it's in the moment, it's everything's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I always think it's important to explore those emotions and understand those emotions, because I think there is this, I'm supposed to feel a certain way before a certain moment. And that's not always true, right? Or sometimes those feelings are not glorious. They're mind bending, and you got to be able to see them for what they are. This is a good thing. Caroline, you mentioned your father before. obviously a major influential figure. I'd love to hear about more of the people that have influenced you, inspired you throughout your young career. Let's be honest. I mean, you're just really getting going here, and you've done a lot so far. But tell me about those people in your life that have really, inspired you to get to the level you're at today.
Yeah, I think, like you said, my dad was definitely an influential piece and support for me to, to like get where I am and continue to be. He always support me. He always has had my back. He's always drove me those early mornings, brought me to extra workouts, extra skill sessions, you name it. He was always the one to bring me, support me, criticize me at times, but also be like, okay, just like keep working at this, like you'll get there, like reminding me of things. He's always had my best interest in mind and been the best. And then on top of that, just my family in general. I have the most amazing mom and siblings who have always supported me, been my number one fans. They've always had my back as well. So they're students of the game as well. They see it in a different lens. They all have a different lens, which is great. They're always looking out for me and wanting me to find success and do well. So I'm so grateful to have the family I have. And they've been an integral part of that, and just my extended family as well too.
I love it. I love that you mentioned that, because family plays such an amazing role. And again, to the parents listening, that's you, right? You have the opportunity to be that kind of person, and you are in your kid's life. If you're listening to this show, there's a 99.9% possibility you're in that realm. All right, Caroline, it's time for our favorite topic of the show. This is the rapid fire round. We're going to ask you a few questions. We got to ask every time. Short answers, long answers, whatever you want. It's rapid fire. You do it however you want. I'll lead us off here today. Favorite rink you've ever played in?
I would.
It's tough now.
I know.
A lot.
I would say LeBon, because it's been a consistent thing the last couple of years. LeBon.
That's awesome. Mike, you want to take the next one?
Sure. So we're always looking for, I'm an old guy, so I always like to know what are the latest and greatest pump up songs, like something that really, you feel, you're getting ready for a game. What are you listening to?
Okay, I've been. I go between a couple of genres like rap and EDM, but I've been really on to this new song. I don't know if it's new. It's called The Days, and I think it's like the Notion remix. That's what it's called. But I actually pump up. I listen to this. It might sound crazy, but Billie Eilish. I don't know. You have to get low to get high. So
that doesn't sound crazy. Whatever works, right?
Yeah.
It works. They're going to skyrocket now that you said that. Sure. You want to take the next one and then the bonus one?
Bonus. Okay. Who is your favorite hockey player growing up? And maybe who is it now? Let's get both.
Okay. Right now, I would say Quinn Hughes. Just his game. He's changing the dynamic and the way a defenseman plays. I love his game. His mom's actually our player development coach, Ellen Hughes. She's been awesome. Oh, nice. She sends me his clips, and she's been amazing. Like, she had us out to Michigan last summer, so she's been a great part of the process as well. And then growing up, I would say as a female figure, I would say Casey Bellamy. She's just such a solid defenseman, so strong, a great stick, great shot. I feel like growing up, I would just always try to want to play like her, and I always looked up to her the way she was as a person and player.
And the bonus question: do you have a nickname, and if so, how did you get it?
If you guys didn't know, it's KK. Just growing up, my sister, it's funny, she's actually older than me, but when my mom was like, oh, like her name's Caroline, that's what it came out somehow. So that stuck, and now everyone knows me as that to this day. So. Do
you give her props for that? Does she take credit for that?
Yeah, gets credit all the time. Yep.
Well, Caroline, this has been a really great episode. I really do want to tell you how much we appreciate you coming on. Your life has been crazy here for a few months, and I'm glad we caught you in a bit of a downtime. And we might not quite be stretching to relax, but I hope this was a relaxing episode for you, and you had a good time on Our Girls Play Hockey.
Awesome. No, yeah, thank you for having me. It's been great to chat about everything.
No, it's been great for us too. And again, Caroline's going to join us for an episode of The Ride to the Rink. That'll be coming out Tuesday. But that's going to do it for this edition of Our Girls Play Hockey. For Sherry Hudspeth, for Mike Benelli, for Caroline Harvey, I'm Lee Elias. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Take care. We hope you enjoyed this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey. Make sure to like and subscribe right now if you found value wherever you're listening, whether it's a podcast network, a social media network, or our website, ourkidsplayhockey.com. Also, make sure to check out our children's book, When Hockey Stops, at whenhockeystops.com. It's a book that helps children deal with adversity in the game and in life. We're very proud of it. But thanks so much for listening to this edition of Our Kids Play Hockey, and we'll see you on the next episode.